The Lord has given me favor. The Lord has given me blessings. Jesus has given me marriage. Our Lord has given me power. Power to fight my enemies. The Lord has given me healing. Yeah. They were see it, 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 they were yeah, they were yeah, they were yeah, they were yeah, they were no, they were no, they were no, they were no, they were feeling, they were feeling, they were feeling, they were feeling, they were wonder, they were wonder. I happy, that my blessing, that my blessing, that my favor, that my favor. Somebody shout glory. Revelation 3 verse 8. Jesus says, I know that works, my brethren. Behold, I've set before thee an open door, of which no man can close it. Brothers and sisters, then who is there to say a thing if I, God, has not yet said it? Come on, celebrate with me. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. The Lord has set before me an open door, an open door, an open door, an open door. The Lord has set before you an open door, an open door, an open door, an open door. The Lord has set before me an open door, an open door. The Lord has set before me an open door, an open door. This is my time. I know, I believe and receive it. Oh, this is my time. Somebody help me. My level don't change.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to this broadcast. I'm Alfonso Z, and so today is Sunday, and it's your informative news magazine, Freedom Watch, right here this evening with Minister Comfort Cone, opening up for that theater to this program. Welcome, folks.
It's my destiny. Hey. My level don't change. Oh, my level don't change. This is my time. This is my time. Oh, this is my time. This is your time to win. No matter what it is, rely on Jesus. Depend on Jesus. Yes, my level don't change. Jealous of nobody. Oh, this is my time. Hey, it's my hey, oh.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much. This is a song that introduces the program.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, hey, hey. Hallelujah, hey. Giving, hallelujah, hey. Giving the highest praise, hallelujah, hey. Giving the highest praise, hallelujah, hey. Giving the highest praise. In the morning when I wake up, in the night when I wake up, I will lift up my voice to heaven and give you the highest praise. Hallelujah to my King. Hallelujah to my Father.
Oh, man. Folks, we want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. I'm Alfonso Z, and so of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Okay, we will get this program on the way right away here. Time check here in the East Coast is 5:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully you had a very beautiful Sunday. Well, today we're going to undo the politics of Liberia and look at some success story in our community to serve as inspiration to move forward and an extraordinary journey. From being a runaway person, from being a refugee, from being a community leader from Lakari to state senator right here in the Ocean State of Rhode Island. And I'm talking about a representative-elect of the state of Rhode Island, Nate Netanyahu, will be joining me here. But here there's a gentleman within who also close to now to Representative Nate Netanyahu, involved heavily in the community initiative. Mr. Nathan is here standing by. I'm going to be bringing him very shortly to set the stage, to tell us here what he knows about Nathan and his own working relationship. As a matter of fact, we all work with the Liberian community right here. I'm Alfonso Z, and so stay tuned. Okay, with time so spent, let me just bring in my first. He will introduce himself. My dear brother, just unmute your mic right there. There he is. He is the chairman of the Liberian community by the Ocean State of Rhode Island, Mr. Nate Netanyahu. He's right here with me this evening. Mr. Chairman, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good. I don't want to introduce because I might be leaving some pieces of information out, and that will now serve the purpose of this discussion. So, for full disclosures, just introduce yourself to my audience, and we will.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. So, my name is Nathanyel. I happen to be the chairman of the Liberian Community Association in Rhode Island, a position that I've held at least for.
Mr. Chairman, can you pop your camera and put up a little bit up? Okay, yeah, much better. So we'll be on the same level. Good.
Yes, sir. So I became the chairman of the Liberian Community Association about 4 years ago. And before that, we work with the association. What we've done essentially with our association here in Rhode Island, we've did a drastic change in how we operated and did business. We kind of adopted the real social service model. What that means is we vacated several positions that we felt was in the best interest of the Liberian Community Association. So we vacated the position of the president, the vice president, and a few other positions. And we made it a true social service organization that would actually take care of the people. So essentially we hired an executive director that we have now, and we have the board of directors. So our job is to essentially become a resource organization. We have the capacity to do certain things, and things that we don't have the capacity to do, we refer our people out to other organizations. And so, in short, that's me. That's the work we do. Professionally, I'm a soldier. I serve as the Assistant Inspector General for the Rhode Island Army National Guard. I'm also an active duty soldier, and that's my life.
That's your life.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all of your services to the community and even within the military here. Okay, how is the community so far?
The community has been very, very vibrant over the past maybe 5, 6, 7 years now. Like I said, we've transformed the organization to a true social service organization to reflect the needs of the people. In August, we started a needs-based assessment. Essentially what that does is to give us an idea of what our people we serve want to do. And so the need-based assessment will identify areas that we can help people in, i.e. it helps with immigration issues, with COVID, with education, other social services that we need to do. We've been working behind the scenes with our partners in showing our people who were eligible for the Liberian Refugee Repatriation Act had the opportunity, the know-how, and the resources, of course, to apply to adjust their status, and we've been successful over time. Those are some of the few things we do. As we go into conversation, I'm sure we have more to discuss.
Yeah, and I absolutely we going to find time, make some time beyond this talking point here. But today, I'm quite sure you are aware. The part of this conversation is to lay the foundation, the success story of our own friend and brother, from Lakari to now to be in the State House of Rhode Island. That's amazing. Tell us here now. You've been into Rhode Island before I got here, I believe. We work basically with the same Liberian community involved in some, community initiative here. Tell me a little bit before our guests come in here. The representative elect, Mr. Nate Netanyahu. What has been what was the relationship with this gentleman?
So ironically, I've known Nathan for over 30 years. We're actually classmates in high school. And so we've worked on like numerous things before. We were classmates in high school back in Liberia before coming here.
Oh.
And yes, we were actually classmates. So we go all the way back. So when he started, back in 2008, 2009, when we had an influx of problems in our community, and we felt that we needed people to rise to the occasion and actually take hold of the community. Nathan stepped forward, and like all of us, we came here as refugees. His story, as much as trailblazing as it is, it also emphasizes the fact that we've all have a common story, a common goal, and anyone can get and achieve anything you want to do in this country. And so he called me like, Nate, we call each other Nate, of course, so because we have the same name.
Right.
Like, Nate, I want to do this, and I want to run for president for Liberian Community Association and all that stuff. But I need you to come on board and help me. I'm like, fine. And I myself, in the same vein, was applying to become a member of what we call the assembly now, the board of directors now, but it was called an assembly before. So we worked together on that project. We were very successful. We had some hiccups, of course, like any other organization, but we were able to transform this organization. And what we're essentially trying to do, the premise of what we have now is a foothold of what Nathan introduced. That how do we transform ourselves from a pseudo-political organization to a true social service organization? And over the past like 5 to 7 years, we drastically changed our formation. First of all, we changed ourselves from the assembly, which we felt was completely political, to the board of directors, and eventually became dropped the office of the president and vice president, and it became the executive director. So Nathan was influential all through that process, even after he left office. And he did several things. We still got in contact. When he started this campaign, he called me. First of all, we had a meeting and we sat and we discussed and we talked. We met a bunch of people, of interest, stakeholders, of course. He asked me to serve as his campaign manager, which I agreed. And we worked tirelessly, walking the community, doing a bunch of things. And we've had some serious discussions about where we want to see our community, because we needed to at least have a seat at the table. And so, again, as trailblazing as this is, I think it resonates with almost every Liberian. And we started about 3 years ago to get people to get out and pull themselves and actually by their bootstraps and run for public office. So it was 3 years ago when we invited Mayor Collins here from Montana. That was the first stage of our rollout plan. We brought him essentially, and his theme he spoke on was to get people to actually be involved in public office. The next year, we brought in Russell from Minnesota to talk to our people again. All that in the means of actually setting the stage, and we were successful to say. And Nathan won his seat, but we also had 2 Liberians running, him and another gentleman called Emmanuel Numa. Unfortunately, he lost. But all is not lost. So Nathan and I go like over 30 years plus.
Yeah. So let me stop you here. We are not roller skating here. You know what we do here at Lpr. So, Mr. Chairman, what was the very first instance not represented be at when you approached, hey, I want to embark on this political journey? And we all started from like Kari. You've been knowing him from by way back. What was the first reaction in terms of his approach to you?
So we Nathan and I are like, we're not even friends anymore. We're like brothers. We talk almost every single day. And so it's funny. But so the first thing I asked was, what difference would you make that this person is not doing? That's the first question. What would be our platform?
You're looking at
face. Oh yeah, of course.
Question.
Yeah, I asked him the question. I'm like, what do you bring different to the table that this person does not have? What are we looking for? What are we trying to achieve? And the reason I asked this question, Alfonso, is because again, I keep using the word trailblaze because again, he's a trailblazer, right? He's trailblazed, and we've said this thing. But I tell you this, Nathan's success is our success as a Liberian community in general and across the country in general. If Nathan fails, we all fail. We cannot fail in this endeavor. And so I had a conversation with a bunch of people in the community when I did an introduction for him a few months ago, and I asked everyone, like, come on board and let's help us. Let's do this thing. Nathan and I spoke yesterday. I'm like, look, now we're moving in a whole different direction where we want to staff him. Essentially, he's not where people would not, just be able to. We're not trying to pull him out of the community or the public phase, but where we staff him, where people would actually get to all these other people who would serve as resources to him. So we have to provide that buffer to kind of, give him the opportunity to make those sound decisions. And so the first question, like I told you, I asked him was, what do we bring to the table? And I think the time is ripe. Nathan is a successful educator. He's been in the arena for a very long time. He serves as principal for a school now, but he served as vice principal, a teacher, and a bunch of other things before. And so I think he's rep and he's ready for other opportunities that will come his way.
And was there any apprehension? As a matter of fact, I had an opportunity to work with you, to work with Mr. Biata now, the representative. You know the story where we passed through as far as the election that brought now President Winston Gould. We went to the Superior Court. Self-proclaimed another brain factions of ULAT led by Nelly Savage and Mariah Seaton. So that was a pain in the neck. And Nathan stood by us, not only as an outgoing president, but ensured that the process was fully executed and comprehensive to bring the community together. But that was a tough road that we went through, though.
It was. And I think, and unfortunately, we went the route that we had to actually go to court as an organization and do that. And like you said, Nathan effectively assisted in a whole transitional period to that kind of emerged to bring Winston Gould as the president at the time. But that showed leadership on his part. I had the opportunity to deploy overseas, and even after I deployed, Nathan and I were in constant communication. We're talking back and forth because I was still serving at the time. I asked her to actually get relinquished of my position because I was going overseas to serve. But they're like, no. So you're going to stay on board. So whatever happened, and to the benefit and of the entire community, I would say publicly that my community association worked with me, and that every time I had a free time, it's when we actually have meetings. So I would be overseas and I would actually call in and would have a sincere discussion on the affairs of the association. And he was instrumental in that. The kid comes with the brother comes with a bunch of ideas. He carries his own weight. He's able to decipher things on his own. But his key component as a leader is that he listens. That's something that's key. That I
agree with. He's not like the type of leaders or community leader type. Their voice or their decision should be the ultimate one without giving opportunity to the. Let me ask you, why do you think we have a lot of folks around here? Why now to Representative Bia look in the face and tap Nathan to you, his namesake, to cheer social campaign? What did he see in you?
We like I said, we go back and we're honest with each other. We are extremely honest with each other. He would tell me something. He would tell me something first, and I'd be like, "Oh, okay, let's talk about it. Let's think about it." We would brainstorm. The biggest thing we take from each other, our common theme is that we're not worried about the here and now, but we're worried about the future. And so every time we plan and we scheme or we do whatever, we're looking at the future. What does the future hold? And that's the conversation we usually have. What do we see ourselves? And because he knows I have him, I got him no matter what it is. I would have his back. We go way back. He's a brother. He's a friend. And again, just being able to influence, certain things that he does, his decision. I'm like, okay, we have to do it this way. And I'm telling you, he stops in his tracks. No matter what his thought process is, he's like, okay, we're going to do it this way. And that's something, that's a leader. That's someone you want in your corner, because being able to influence or tread in the processes, those are things that you want to be as a confidant to him. Now I call myself. So I think
trust was one of the key factors, because in order to tap somebody to be your I told him back on such that the politics of Liberia is different from that of the U.S. So first of all, you somebody who will manage your campaign, that credibility should be there as well. And there's no question about that. You really meet that sort of criteria. You know, the actions of now to Representative Bia, it reminds me of one of our breakfasts with at the Ohuise International in Providence. I remember during the heat of the campaign, Senator Shadow Whitehouse, Sicilians, and the mayor, and all of that. And I remember Shadow Whitehouse said, "Hey, Liberians, you got to get involved. The reason the Hispanics and all of these people are part of the project is what? Because they motivate themselves. They try to get themselves into the political system. So in order to be heard, you must learn to try to sit at the king's table." And I think now to Representative Bia pulled the bull by the horns. From Lakari to State House. That's amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing because I tell you this: we've had conversations, and Nathan has done his own. He pulled me once, and we went and actually worked on a few campaigns for people who ran for public office, and just getting to see him. He's very influential in the Democratic Party here. And during the campaign, we had the opportunity to work with a few other folks that came in from the party and a bunch of other things. And the conversation is, we want to be different. You know, we want to be different. We had at some point in the campaign some heated discussion with our folks and everything else, but we stood our ground. Our conversation, our message to the people were, we want to win this race on our merits, not on anything else. We want to win this race based on our merits, on our work, and what we bring to the table.
I get it right here. If I'm going off track here, he's the first Liberian ever to be elected on such a high-profile position, such a political position. Am I correct?
Yes, you are. In the Rhode Island, of course. Other areas, I'm not too sure. I'm going to keep it to here.
Yeah. I mean, we are talking about the Ocean State, the beautiful states in among the 50 or whatever they say. We do something like boat ride and all of that here. What the elections of Mr. Bia, state representative, what it means for the residents, Liberians, by and large. Let's get it out of the corridor to Rhode Island. There are other folks. There's a lady also elected in Colorado. Trying to get here. But I think Newton broke the gap, the phobia, diminishing yourself, diminishing your potential to forge ahead with your career. I think he has opened the door.
The door is open. The door is open. The wind is trailblazing. Again, I'll go back to that same word, because when we did our publicity for him, even our social media page at the Liberian Community Association, we encourage a bunch of people to come to the table. Until we can hold our own and be in the public space and be in the public square and debate our issue of education, immigration, social, economic, political, policies that we can actually bring in effect in Rhode Island. We will, and I'll tell you this, I'm going to digress a little bit. I'll tell you this. We had an issue here in the state a while ago, and we talked to a very high public official. I'm not going to name the person's name for a variety of reasons, but I'll tell you this. The first thing that person told us was, well, you guys need to write a letter to the president, President Trump, and say, our people take care of people in the nursing homes, and we're deeply rooted in nursing homes. And that struck a chord to me, and that's the reason why. I don't hold me to this, because it's dignity of labor, where people work in the nursing homes and do all these different things. But we have Liberian professionals here and across the country in general. We've got doctors, we got lawyers, we got military folks like myself, we got educators like Nathan, we have lawyers like a few other people we do. Why don't we leverage all those occupations we have and bring all that expertise to the table to help Liberians? We have the opportunity. The sky's the limit now. We talked to Nikisha Ricks from Colorado recently. She called to congratulate us on our win, and we did the same, of course. And we're looking to expand the horizon. We talked to Russell, that's running for mayor now in Minnesota. We want to be able to use this thing as a political action group, where we go around and enforce and ensure the Liberians. But let me state for the record, Liberians who are are able to carry their own in so many different ways than one. That would be able to bring them to the table, not because we know you or you're Liberian, but if you're not capable and you don't have the expertise of the
I
professionalism,
know. I was coming.
we're not going to do that.
I know you for sure. You are straight talker here. I'm
Yeah.
like, what a minute you're going to carry people. If you know your baggage is just no, how do you call it, a 12-tire truck and carry your baggage, please forget it.
Please, stop. Yeah.
Because everything starts from the community. Because even when
Yes,
we get out there, the community people are going to come and do a backtracking your relationship in the community. And that's where I see the patience of now Representative Nate Netanyahu. Because believe me, when he appointed me as the chairperson of the election commission, that was a consequential election. You know that.
It was.
The
It was.
environment was at a crossroad. It reminded me of the same election I managed my own graduate association here, because you have Nelly Savage, who was a pain in the neck. You have Mariah Seaton, the brokerway, Eula, and all of that. Leonard in support. My phone line, they were bossing. Do not accept that appointment from Nathan. We will take you to court. And I would get pissed. I want to realize, can I respond? And then the president, President Bia, no, Mr. So just kind of, what kind of guy who was just appeasing, because it was really getting off here. And that's where I really know this gentleman. He's somebody who really of patience and tolerance. Now he's going to be at the higher of the state. What is the implications with our own country? He's a son of Liberia, native Namibians, going to the state house. A lot is unfolding here. You closely monitoring what is unfolding here. Let's make a guess game here. What do you think going to happen?
Well, I would let Nathan himself actually speak on that.
Come on.
I would let Nathan speak on that.
Campaign.
I am.
I know there was some discussion behind the closed door. Are you willing to unveil that or no?
No, not really. I think I would leave that to Nathan to do that himself. We talked last night, like I told you. We've had a series of discussions on issues, but I think our focus now is on becoming state rep and presenting the issue of Liberia and Liberians to our local government here in the state of Rhode Island. We are Liberians kids in the schools we're second largest in the Rhode Island school department, public school department in my state for the record, behind the Dominicans. And so we have a lot of work to do in our high schools. We have a lot of work to do with our elderly folks. We have a lot of partnering and partnership to do with other organizations. And so that's our focus right now. Whatever the future holds, it will hold. And Nathan will probably be best suited to discuss that.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, stay there with us here. My special guest right here from the State of Providence, first Liberian ever to hold a high-profile position, is here with me. In the meantime, folks, let's give him a big hand of applause. Let's give it all. Let's give it all. There you see him. That's the rep right for the Ocean State of
What's up, kid?
Representative
Nate. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, it's here. Okay. What a beautiful evening here. You see this guy, and that's the thing I know about. He's a guy who doesn't even like title business. He just put right there, Nathan. Simple as it is, my goodness. All right. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Rep, Mr. President, the titles are so many. I permit me to just call all of these titles because it was humbling working with you to give me the opportunity to serve this community. Mr. Nathan Bia, State Representative elect for the Ocean State of Rhode Island, District number 3. There you see him right there. Rep, good evening. So welcome on LPR.
Good evening, Alfonso, and to all of the viewers of LPR. Good evening to war.
Okay. So I don't need an introduction from you, but we always have different viewers, listeners, always training with us here on the Liberia Public Radio. So just briefly introduce yourself, and we will get down to the wire.
And Alfonso, like you do the introduction. What's there to introduce about? I'm a Liberian. That's I'm a Liberian. I'm just a regular guy like every other Liberian that are here. And fortunately for me, God just helped me to be where I'm at today. So I would just like say, thank you, praise God for that.
Okay.
And that's a state rep elect for our District 3 in the state of Rhode Island.
District 3. All right, let's see here. Let's see if we can do more editing here. Hopefully it fits in. We fit in. Okay, folks, just bear with us here, and we will get this program. It's already on the way, so we're going to get it going. Okay, there you have it. District number 3. Okay, Mr. Rep, thank you. Nathan, please stay within. That's your namesake. So we're going to do it here. And I believe I think this story worth telling. It's a real success story, live success story. This is not a fairy tale. It is important that we have this so that some sort of inspiration will be built here. Let's start here a little bit, do backtracking to get to your current political stage here. How you got involved in community initiative, Mr. Representative?
Well, I got involved in state community work stuff for a very long time. When I first entered the state, that was in the early 90s. So it was when I first got here, the president of the Liberia Community Association at that point was our late Janet Bush. And it was when I got involved, as a young man, just got involved in community politics and just been heavily invested in that. It's not much about politics. It's about serving your community, just working with people. That's what motivates me. That's what keeps me going. To be able to get out there and help people. Doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what tribe you are, what country you're from. Doesn't matter your race, your ethnicity. It's just about where I think it's a noble thing to do, to be able to extend that olive branch and help people that so.
So
and once I transferred into that, got into that over time. I've worked within the community to be able to after later John Bush, then we have Moses who came as president. So I've been invested in serving people as I call it, serving people as a servant, and I think it's one of the prudent things to do. And this is why that's what gets me up every day. Keeps me going, and also in my field also, which is education, is also be able to help people. I think that's a thing where if we all have that mindset, we will have our differences. As I definitely. However, if you can get there to help others, that is the most prudent thing to do.
Okay, let's do a little bit backtracking here because, like I say, it's a success story. So it is important that we share this so that people will know. And our other brethren that are back there that put everybody in a basket of deplorables from Liberia, they're not doing anything here. Your story is not different from mine and that of your colleague, Nathan, a young Liberian who came here as a result of the civil crisis. Am I correct?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So we're going to say about the rest.
Yeah, you fly a country and you were coming to a land, even though the name America was ringing bell, and this is where everybody wanted to come, but you did not travel on a number of circumstances to say, oh, I'm leaving, I'm going to come back tomorrow. You don't know what time you're going to be going back. Take us through that path, Mr. Representative. How was it like when you were leaving your country?
Well, I think we all went through this. I think all Liberians basically that are in the diaspora, majority of us, and also were, those even that are residing in Liberia right now, or to went through the same thing that I went through. But it was not a plan to say, well, I was coming to a plan to say you're coming to America. Those plans was never it was never something that you actually sat and drafted or you thought about. It just happened in the spirit of the moment, where why we were, struggling through, fighting, the Civil War was going through. I'm in, airfield area, like I see, we were able to walk from that point to head over to Logan Town, my family and I, and we were also there for X amount of months, and we were able to also walk from Logantown to go to Bun Mines. So while in Bun Mines, you're there, and you hear a group of people say, "Look, the safety places, to go to Ivory Coast where you're going to be a refugee." So you pick your chances. You pick a low. You say, should I stay here? I really don't know what's going to happen with rebel forces and government forces fighting. So I might as well just go and be refugees in another country. So that's why we were able to leave and head to Ivory Coast in Danale, and was a refugee there for at least a few months, almost a year. That we're able to reunite. I was able to reunite with my siblings and I with some of the families that were already here in Rhode Island. Right. So we got here by the 1991, actually June of 91.
91. So I believe 1991 was in Sierra Leone, even though I went through Dananeda. I think that was the very first group of beneficiaries of the Family Reunion Resettlement Program, I believe, 1991. 1991. Well, so I share with us here, because we have our case and there are a lot of young Liberians here. And then you got here. How did your focus factor in to get you to this place?
I think focus and vision is paramount. And the thing else where, so many of us come here with a vision and with a focus, but, with this country, one thing I can say is it's a difficult country to be in, despite the opportunities are here. However, you still have to be focused on exactly to achieve your goal. And definitely there's going to be there's going to be roadblocks. You're going to derail, but as long as you keep your focus and your goal ahead of you, you should be able to try to accomplish that. It's like it's like a track runner, right? It's like an athlete. Mm-hmm. So one thing about once you run track, if you're running, you should be able to keep looking ahead. As long as you slow down and turn, the next person is going to pass you. As of that, it takes a split second. As soon as you look back, the split second, someone's going to pass you. So, and that's been my vision moving forward. Since I got here, my goal was first of all, to get your education, right? That's the first thing, first and foremost. Because coming over here, I've just graduated from high school and wasn't able to get my high school paper. So we're able to take the general equivalent, education, which you call GED, to get that paperwork. Then from there to proceed for college. But it's not an easy task. Even after that, to be able to work. Look, and with work, there is nothing that I'm saying here that Liberians that are in the diaspora haven't done this before. We work in factories, unemployment agency, in factories, and you here and there. But at the same time, the focus was, hey, I need to get my education. I need to get my education. And once I got my education, to be able to focus, what I want to do next. And also assimilating within yourself in the society in which you are, in which you currently live. Right. So despite, I love my country, Liberia. One thing, one of the foremost. But now the second thing is, but I'm currently here in the US, in Rhode Island. So how do I make that balance? So you have to assimilate myself with the society in which I'm currently in. So to be able to get involved in community, Liberian Community Association, also community as large in the state of Rhode Island. Community event, not Liberian community only, but just community event at large in the state.
Everything inclusive.
Yeah, very, very inclusive. Getting involved in Italian American event, Irish American event. Get it just similar to say with the entire culture in which you find yourself in.
It seems then there was some sort of political ambition was somewhere within. Then you were trying to put those pieces and puzzles together so as not to be an unknown figure when the time is ripe. Which, of course, the time is now ripe, Mr. Representative. Correct? That was a long time. There was a long-term preparation you were making.
I didn't see it as preparation. I just see it as a where this guy, where hey, just try to be part of a member of his community, be a good citizen. That's how I look at it. But then after getting involved into all of this community event, then when opportunity arises from time to time, you say, okay, now this is all right. So I've been working the community for a pretty long time, and I think probably then you start to focus your mind on where what am I going to do next? I think that's the question. But from the first from the on-site, politics was not it was not in the plan at all. It was just being like just a community member to be able to help people. That was that was the goal.
Okay. Well, folks, today I'm having the honor and pleasure to talk to a friend and brother. I had an opportunity to work with him. Now, the state representative elite, state of Rhode Island, district number 3, Mr. Netanyahu is here with us, and his own namesake, Nathan, who manages his campaign from the Liberian community. So we're going to pivot a little bit your services to our own community, and then we'll try to figure out how this whole decisions of going to from Lakari to State House, how this whole thing came about, who pushed all of it line here. So let's get it rolling here. You serve as a president of the Liberian community of the state of Rhode Island. It's a hectic thing. They give people migraine. You talk, people cost you, and all sort of stuff. What were some of the things that the risk that you decided to consider, Mr. President, if we were to call you, to even take the horn with this whole Liberian community? It was a crazy thing here, I ever seen.
I mean, I think Nathan will probably be able to allude to that, that whole event from the onset to the crazy. But so let me just give you a quick background before I turn this over to Nathan quickly. So now, you see, here now we didn't just meet in the U.S. I just want people to know some background now. So we were friends from back home. Also, we attended the same high school.
Wow.
So our relationship goes way back. It's not just like in the diaspora, like you Rhode Island connection. So this is like from Cathedral back in the days connection from high school days. So this is where my brother and I have come, and it's where we are today. So everything that you see, basically, that you see, like he's been part of where the initial process of discussion of anything that where you see me today. Right? So I'll pivot to that for him to pick up from there.
Well, all right, yeah, okay. Let me just go to him too, because he already set the stage that you guys came from all the way. It's not these sort of overnight friendship, cartoon friendship that is all around here. They only become friends when they see something. But this came here. So go ahead, Nathan.
Well, so like I said before, Nathan and I, we go again, not to re-emphasize or beat the horse, but go all the way back. And I think our conversation we always have, and listen to this and watch him laugh, is not about the here and now, it's about the future. That's the talk we always have. What does the future hold? And so when we even did the whole issue with the Liberian Community Association, the focus was we're enjoy the here and now, but playing for the future. And so through all that process of the debates and the ruckus and the fighting and all those different things at the Liberian Community Association, we knew where we stood, and we knew we were focused on the goal to one, transform our community from what it was to what it's supposed to be. That's number one, and two, put ourselves in a position that we can afford or help other Liberians going forward. And that's the fruit of what it is today.
Okay, so let me go back to the rep here. Then some more success story here. So what was the first time you contested for the Liberian community leadership?
Well, the first time I contested was when I won the election.
You served two terms, right?
Yes.
Two terms. And at the end of that 2 terms, Liberian community in drama. We went for ULAT conferences all over the place here. Let me bring something memorable here, because in your absence, I was talking, I say I never saw a guy who was so patient, so tolerant, because sometimes when I want to scream at some of those people, they say, no, Mr. Chairman, don't do this here. Can you see that image?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Do you remember the incident?
Yes.
I remember that day.
Okay. That was an election I was just talking about, and I was privileged when Aunt Rabia asked me to serve as the chairperson of the election commission, because it was like Liberian community was at a crossroad.
Yes.
And people were bombarding my phone. Don't take it. Don't take it. They made this. They made that. And he was the guy was encouraging me, because I rather answer. They said, no, don't do that. We are here to fix it. But the election went on successfully, and I've never saw somebody. It was a tough thing. And not to relegate some of these things, but we have to say that's history, because if you did not, you as an outgoing president, if you never supported that president, I don't know where this Liberian community to be where it is today. On the day of the election, Chairman Nathan, remember there was a conspiracy tweet that came about was immigration in the middle of this whole TPS and things. They said immigration personnel are coming, but those were some of the forces of this community who were so determined to break that, to distract and stuff. At the end of the day, we went to a superior court. Now, Mr. Representative, you did not give her throughout the process. Even when we're going through the court proceeding, you did not give her, you did not turn your back. Why?
I mean, I think, as you can see, it's the same thing also in our own country today. Right. So, like, you have to build up. It takes a long time to build up and to build something reputable, right? Something's great. But to destroy, it take like few seconds, maybe few hours to destroy. And those people, people that probably sometimes come to destroy, those are not the people that probably need community assistance. So there are a vast majority of people in the community that need more assistance, that need help. So at the end of the day, I have my mindset about helping Liberians. So, and sometimes when you listen to all of these were outside forces that come to probably to bring, chaos, it doesn't help the common people. So my goal, our goal is, our vision is always to extend that olive branch to be able to help Liberians. So, and the very few that will come to want to destroy, they don't need help. It's the same thing within our country. Tons, citizens of our country, all around the, in entire counties in Liberia, right? People need help. The 1% that have the luxury, right? But 99% of the population need help. So it's the mirror image of our community also. And Liberians all around, for example, even in Rhode Island or even various states, we need help. The community need to step up. And this is why always keep me to be very patient and focused, based on who can we help next. Because sometimes you really don't know. But people that you help down the line come and tell you, say like, hey, thank you for what you did for me. You may not take it to be anything, but that family takes it for a whole lot. This is why I and my team, we don't take anything for granted. We will go the extra mile to be able to help any and every Liberian just by where you are.
Wow.
And that is and that is where one of the things that we say as a leader, our job, our role, our responsibility, right? Our responsibility to go out there and help people, not the other way around, not the concept of us like, the people come and serve us. No, we are servant as leaders.
Servant, talking about servant, I want to believe that because young guy, not to put you down, but I to be a principal of a high school of the kids be in this place here. It requires someone with tolerance. How long you stayed? You were educated. You mentor people. How long do you stay within the school district with that school to get you to be where you are today? And are you still going to be in the classroom?
Yeah, so we're running the school right now. The principal is like, there's a quote that says, "Patience is a virtue." So patient. Yeah, I mean, so exercising patience and work as a principal, and exercising patience as a leader also. It goes a long way. And to be able to listen to people, to have that to have that patience to listen, despite you might even if you want to disagree, that if you want to disagree, it still doesn't matter. But you have to listen because people input also have a huge role. I might disagree with you because oftentimes what I've noticed that even if I disagree with Mr. Alfonso Zion, so there is nothing Mr. Alfonso Zion is going to tell me I'm going to listen to him. That's the mindset that people have, but that is not ours. Our mindset, even if I disagree with you, I'll listen to you because you have something good also to say that we can probably take advices from you to be able to run organization, to be able to run, like help to run the state of Rhode Island, to be able to help us to pass some bills, and also even as community leaders also. So it's not about who you dislike, who you don't like. It's about actually being able to have that patience and have open mind and take your pride and put it on the side and listen to people that and turn around and be able to serve people.
Yeah. Look, Eugenian, I don't know where you are, but I 199% agree with you. I saw it with this guy, people were treated in this community. Eugenian, this is one of our online. You say, oh man, if you can lead the Liberian people, then you can do anything in this world because I know how hard it takes to lead Liberian. And actually, that's the fact because and the fact that I really want to speak to is what I saw before my very eyes here in Rhode Island here, for this community business for after election, for us to go to court, for people to go to court to say that in fact the election was in hell. It was then known to Representative Bia, just handpicked people. But his being organized and having to record in order, it was good. Everything we have, everything on our side, and then they joylighted. Why are wasting people time here? I don't even know whether they are still around, but we don't want to go there. Let's come to the $1,000,000 question. You help to transition to get everything stabilized, the Liberian community, get back on her feet, and you decide to go Capitol Hill. How that decision or state how that decision came into place?
Well, it's about our relationship and community building, which is our key, and also again, just talking to people within the state and being able to work, the relationship that you have built over a long period of time also help it enables you and help you to be able to move forward in which direction that you want to proceed. I think it's building relationship, and this is why, which is one of the key fundamental of leadership. You build relationship. You
Mr.
don't.
Representative,
You
please,
don't
don't do this to me here. It's not because when you say relationship, I don't want you to go into the Liberian thing our quarter of relationship. I know it took you a time, a preparation. It was not an abrupt decision, especially to contest in this country. People go on your toenails to know what is there. And I just want us to get this success story out here to some other people who just don't know because it's not an easy thing. All right, it's not an easy thing. So, talking about a relationship, what it requires,
look.
what sort of
Look,
relationship are you talking about?
look. Relationship building is one aspect of it.
Hmm.
It requires also a lot of time, investment, funds, but it goes back again. If you do not have relationship with people like within your state, right? If you don't have relationship, if people don't trust you, it's going to be very, very difficult to take the next step. And this is why when I say relationship, because you go back to those people that you have had relationship before with, and also volunteering yourself. Now you have, let's take a few steps back, right? Now, so whereas you can see, like, our political landscape in Rhode Island, state representatives, state senators, were mayoral election, gubernatorial race, and all of those things, and also were lieutenant governor races. So, like, all of these political stuff within which state you reside in, I think assimilated, it goes back to the relationship, assimilating to your culture in which you reside. So to be able to build a relationship with those people and volunteer my time to work with people within the state over a long period of time, and understanding how the process works within this great United States. So having gone through all of that and learned all of those things, so at the point of time where you think, well, I think this is a good time, the appointed time for me to put my hat in the race to run. So now you go back to people that you have created, build relationship with, and just ask and say, look, this is the opportunity. What do you think? Give me your honest feedback. And having an earnest feedback, an honest relationship with people is very, very vital. This is why, like, my right hand man Nathan, I usually have, and when he and I is talking, we actually have, like, a real discussion, and we push each other to the limits. So, like, we're talking about we critique each other, exactly say, okay, now what's our next move? And we just don't sit and say because we're friends, so everything we say is yes and no. We disagree, but then at the end of the day, we come up with a best solution. Yes, to move forward. Yes. So and also funds money running campaign in the U.S. to run for any.
Don't get this cat out of the bag here, because I'm going to come to that. So I know you want to jump there here quite quickly here. So let's, for the benefit of our audience here, so let's establish your political identity: Republican, Independent, Liberal, Democrat, or Green Party. Who is known to rep BI?
So I am a Democratic state representative elect. However, election is not over. Mm-hmm. I am a Rhode Island state representative representing District 3. So people in my constituent, it doesn't matter who you are, Democrat, Republican, Independent, right? So all of those people, I'm going to serve all of those people that's in my district. So, and again, I won't think twice to go across the aisle to go to a Republican, speak with my Republican counterpart, for us to work together and make sure that things are successful for the people of Rhode Island. Because the goal here is to work for the people of Rhode Island, and it's not about working for the Democratic people of Rhode Island. It's working for the entire people of Rhode Island, the constituent the entire state. So be a Republican or Democrat, it doesn't matter to me. My role is to help lift Rhode Island up. So while going across working with my Republican counterpart, that is where I won't think twice to do that.
So conducting campaigns in Liberia is far different from here. So talk to me at Mr. Rep here. What were some of the things, what were the cardinal to raising? Because before you come into that point, there must be a reason. You might have a tangible for which, in fact, you want to be a state representative. So what were those things that you outlined for which you waged a campaign to get you to be where you are today?
Well, there were some of our key points within our campaign. We spoke about our education. All right, we talk about housing. Now, when we talk about housing, there is two kinds of housing. We talk about affordable housing, that's one, and also low-income housing. That's a whole different piece, also. Right. So we talk about education, housing, affordable housing, and low-income housing. And we talk about where criminal justice reform. Right. So those are just some key aspects that we read on, just based on the landscape where we are right now in the country. But if we pivot to my district, because our housing is one of the key aspects, because in the housing and education, because when kids have a pretty decent home where they can reside, education comes next. You cannot educate a child without any place till that they can live. So those are the two things that that is intertwined, to work hands in hand. So those are one of the things that I'm really going to work with my Republican counterpart and see exactly what we want to do in regards to our housing and low income housing, because my district also have a high percentage of minority. So, and we're looking at our housing and low income housing to be able to help my constituent in my district.
Wow. I to wish a campaign to beat an incumbent, it's not easy thing. Do you took into consideration where am I gonna get my money? Where am I gonna get money from to do? It's not like it's tough. Right? One to go to network here. It's not easy, and not to mention, I don't really mean to sound ridiculous here, but very few of our Liberian people are supportive, but the people initiated, because the very first thing, I wouldn't be surprised other people, oh man, yeah, well, they think that he made a Liberian community thing he doing here, he think that way he wants. Okay, our people, they don't elevate people, they tear people, you wait and see, don't man that man, and all of those kind of stuff here. But you came from a very good background in terms of you being administrator from a school. So you did not narrow yourself. You did not kind of put yourself in the bubble to say this is all Liberian affairs. How many people can go vote? Time for voting, they went to triple double. They don't even want to go vote. But your expansion, to your inclusion, to bringing people together, that has helped a lot. Was finance a major challenge in your campaign?
Well, we won't see much of a major challenge, and as you just alluded to be able to expand beyond your community from which you come from. I think that was one of the fundamental things that was that helped out greatly, because of our based on expanding our outside of our Liberian community. That helped us greatly, because of raising fund, we were able to raise tons of money to run this campaign. It was solely based on where from I would just be upfront from like our Irish American, Italian American, African American, Hispanic. Those are the people that have contributed heavily within the campaign. And there were the few Liberians that were actually probably when I'm talking about few Liberians, I'm not just talking about just like my brother Nathan, who was like my campaign man. He's not part of that. And also like, families that we're not talking about, but just outside of those, probably about maybe just maybe 5 or 6 Liberian actors that just contributed to this campaign. But we still went forward. We went forward because of our network that we have created within the state. We were able to raise enough money to run the campaign effectively and efficiently, and for us to come on the other side of us victorious.
So talk to me here, Tom.
One second, sir. Let me be quick to add though. In as much as we didn't have people do that, we had Liberians come to the polls in droves to vote. We would have reached out to them even after the elections. Our opponent actually posted on her Instagram page that she saw all the Liberians in their Sunday best going to vote for their son. And so that's something taken lightly as well. She understood, and in as much as some people didn't contribute, they understood the weight and where we wanted to take this thing. And as Liberians, they showed up to actually vote. So that was a good thing on our people's behalf, and we hope that it continues to do so.
And in addition to that, with where we put our send our hat up to all of the Liberians that really turn up, and we just kudos to all of that, and also not forgetting the rest of the entire African population. I can tell you that but the Nigerians, the Ghanaians, the Gambians, the Senegalese, from Guinea, from Sierra Leone. I am telling you, from Ivory Coast, I mean, I'm telling you, the entire African population in District 3, the entire state, were out there rooting for us, and they all show up to vote. So one thing I can say, like, kudos to us African. We stood up, we came up, we represented each other, and we came up, we voted. Again, and this, I just don't want to thread this lightly, that we're thanks to all of the Africans that came up to vote. Every one of us, from most especially from the continent of Africa. And I'm telling you, when Cape Verdeans, brothers and sisters all show up, came up to vote. So this is how we expand it. And I'm telling you, they all came up to vote. Now, even apart from where the Africans, Dominicans, I can tell you the kudos to them. Our Hispanic brothers and sisters show up. I mean, everyone. I can tell you that, Alfonso, right now. I'm telling you, we were surprised. It's even like the Italian American, Irish American. Everyone came on our side. Because I think they know the campaign, and we were out there. We were up there for strict 7 months campaigning. Right, going door to door, knocking, talking to people, and and people seeing us there, they know us. I mean, and we're not there to kill the ills of our society, but the thing is that they know that representing them, that we truly were represented the democracy. So they send me into the state house, and I'm serving them. So whatever their voices are, I'm taking them to the state house. So whatever the people at District 3 wants me to vote on certain issues on a certain bill, we'll have a discussion in District 3, and that's how I'm going to be voting when I head to the state house, because those are the people that actually entrusted me to represent them.
This seems to be a huge, very huge to me, and this seems to be a big political path into the political dynasty of this country here. So take me into your thought process when that instinct kicks in. What I was in the night, it was early morning, it was in the evening, afternoon, when you decided I am going to do this. What was the motivating factor? Any apprehension? What did you consider? What you're going to be putting yourself in? Are you looking forward or looking behind? Or are you looking on the side to see what's going to come your way? How was it like?
Well, first of all, making that decision, you have to, you have to put a lot of things on the table. You have to put a lot of cards on the table. You look at the pros and the cons, and then you go up and start having that discussion with a few people of, very, very few people to say, hey, hey, I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about this. What do we think? So so when that thought came about, it was it's a question. First, it should come within yourself. Is it burning in you enough that you want to make that leap? That was the question within myself. And once I was able to answer that within myself, and have that truthful answer, I said yes, to be able to serve the people of Rhode Island. So now the next question was, all right, so who do I throw this thing out to for us to have a genuine discussion? Because hey, you can have your inner discussion all by yourself sometimes. Hey, you can have these big dreams all by yourself, but at some point in time, you have to calm down to reality. To have a discussion on the table. And just went after debating with myself X amount of months, and I talk to tell you the truth, I thought about this for 2 years. I anticipated to rent out 2 years ago, but then it was then again came up at that point am I ready now? So I had this plan about 2 years in the making, but am I ready now? So it's when I turned it down. They didn't go 2 years ago. Then I started to actually work towards that plan and getting heavily involved within community, within the Rhode Island political landscape. And when people say this, all politics are local, it is true. It's a true statement. Politics are local. So it was when you start to invest within your local politicians and everything else, and start investing time with them, and you have to make sacrifices. You know, things that you have to make sacrifices on family time and other stuff to get out there, you know, to start showcasing yourself and to prepare yourself. But then after all of those things are done, then you have to come to the table of reality. So that's when I called my, my right-hand man, Nathan, and said, hey, look, this is what I'm thinking about. And we had we just had our, our first meeting with another friend of ours.
Let's turn the camera off you a little bit here to Rep here. And when you placed that call to your friend and brother, long-time buddy, what was his initial reaction to you talking? Was that a surprise, or was that something he anticipated to a long time? I know that some sort of discussion went behind the scene.
Well, I mean, he's right there, so he can. I think he can answer.
So, Ned, let me come to you now. He has thrown it right in place. Yeah. Was that call anticipated, or do you think it was long overdue?
I think the call was more welcome than anticipated. I think it was welcome because I knew him. If I could put myself in a better position, and if I know, because I'm not positioned to do that, one person that would come to mind that could be effectively positioned to do something outside of me would be Nathan. And so for me, it was a welcome news. It felt like, and that's why for me, it's personal. Wow. That's why for me, it's personal, because I know this individual. Outside of me, I can have a candid conversation with this person because I know what he's capable of. I know how he would operate. I know what he brings to the table. I know he understands the landscape, and so it was more welcome than anticipated. I'm like, let's do it. And so, but again, I told you about the questions we asked. What are we going to do differently than this person? You know, what is our platform? What do we change?
Yeah, those are so you're asking his
that's the honest conversation we had. And so we talked about. So the first thing we talked about was he's an educator, so we're tailored to most of our platform towards education and everything else. But we had to break out. And so I have a background in law enforcement and military, all that stuff. So but looking at where he serves as well. So we looked at security. He serves a very dynamic and diverse population, and it's a hub of the state where the state house is, because there's a crawl from the state house. That could be an effective, booming socioeconomic, a silo or a platform, if you will. And so these are conversations we had, and I was excited. I'm still excited for this young man, because I know it's like, I feel like it's me, like it's my thing as well. I take it personal, and so that's why it was more welcome than anticipated.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think these are success stories that people really need to know. It's not automatic. It's not like a quick fix. It's not an overnight that I'm putting peanut butter in the brain. You think you're going to have some sort of quick breakfast to do a quick run through. Rabia, let me ask this question. Do you get mad? And the reason I'm asking this question here, look, we went through all sort of crazy thing, and I agree with Eugenian type post here, because which event were at an event because it was really crazy in the Liberian community, and people called state police, you remember, to interrupt because quote unquote Liberian people, 2-3 people put together, say we don't recognize. If they don't agree with your policy, if for whatever reason they really want to get at you, as long as you are in authority, they will try to do everything to demonize you. Well, at this boy, and we'll go, the state police came, oh, you're not supposed to be here because this other community said and doing this and that. And you are a guy who always in the forbearing of making peace. What are people putting guns on people's throat? You're laughing. I don't see you get mad. I said, but what kind of man is this? How can you be a leader and just be so weak and smiling? People want to do this here. I think it kind of makes sense. Share with us the secret or the hidden thing involved in being a presence of a tolerance. And this is what I see that is lacking in most of our leaders. They do not have that tolerance. They do not persevere. They wanted to get a quick fix. And I really want to share for you to share that secret with us.
Well, I mean, this I don't think it's so much of a secret of but here's the mindset. Patient, you need to exhibit patience to be able to lead. It's one of the fundamental aspects of leadership, right? and everyone who you are leading will have the same vision as you also. So how do you educate, how do you inform people exactly, look, this is the best way forward? I mean, you can go and and scream and do all of those stuff, but does it serve any purpose? I think that be able to just sit and listen to those opposing views. Listen to them. And once you're done listening to them and come up, you come up with a decision and say, like, all right, here's the decision, let's try this path. And it's not about you as like a word, okay, this is because I'm the president, or because I'm the president of the Liberian Community Association, or because I'm the president for this. So my decision is final, but before you come up with that decision, where did you get all of your fact findings or source from before you come into that decision? This is what I do. It's about look for fact finding and be able to come to a decision, because when you make those decisions, also, it becomes very, very serious, and it becomes bounded, because you know what? Every decision you make as a leader, you may not think about it, but it impacts people's lives.
Okay. I get a first caller on the line here. Mr. Eamon George is a senior contributor of the Liberia Public Radio. He's calling for Atlanta. Let me just go back to you. So here, George, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let me say congratulations to your studio guest and the honorable elect. I know the Liberian community. I have been involved with it in Atlanta. There seems to regard that people have fought. Police have come in to Atlanta community. But I want to ask the honorable elect a personal question. What was the support from the Liberian community towards you when you launched this campaign and up to this time? What kind of support you got, moral or financial support? What kind of support these people gave you in that community?
Okay, no one see beyond go by. Okay, Mr. Rep, he wants to know. I know you listen to the question loud and clear.
Yes, so again, look, the support that we got from the Liberian community was were the people that came to show up. People show up and voted. One thing the current president of the Liberian community right now, Mr. Winston, he was also very, very strong supporter of my campaign also. And so with Mr. Winston and very few Liberians were able to to support financially. But one thing, the support that I got from the Liberians were able to get it out and vote. That I can't take away from my people, because they did show up for me. They show up for me and they went to the poll and they voted. That is the support that I actually got from them. It was the most important support that I needed from my people, and they did answer.
I know. At the end of the day, it's all about the numbers. Patrick, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me say something real quick to him, Alfonso, before he leaves. So, Mr. George, thank you for the question as well. So, about 3 years ago, I spoke earlier
to the community, because I see in the Liberian community, man, in Atlanta, I don't know about other places, but I saw in Atlanta what we were involved with. People fought physically, police came. So that was
you hear the one talking here again now. We were at a bar and the police state trooper came. They said, "We must close our bar because they don't agree with individual."
Yeah. It happened in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
So, I just wanted to know, because at that point, I was asking that question. But anyway, I want to say thank you to all the people that supported you morally and financially. And I think you coming to this position, it should be a wake-up call to every Liberian now that we should start supporting those who are qualified in our community to get involved in this politics, because that's the only way someone will be able to speak for us.
Yes.
So we can't say that our thing, or my hand out there, or that people do that thing. No, I think it is not time, and your success is a wake-up call. It should be a wake-up call to every Liberian.
Okay.
If there are people in our community, we should rally around them. Let us put this petty jealousies aside and try to support those who are qualified and can champion the cause of our own self, because that's how the Spanish do it, all the Jewish people, that's how they do it. Because if we don't support our own people who will speak for us at the table. So I just want to say thank you, and to your campaign manager, best friend and buddy, and who stood by you up to this time. So I just want to say thank you to them, and I hope the message will go forward.
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Pa George. Reb, you want to respond to him?
Well, I mean, I agree with everything he said, and I actually do understand. I had the first-hand information about the event in Atlanta because I was also like a heavily invested within the Liberian Community Association in Atlanta also, and also with the Nima Community Association in Atlanta. So I traveled to Atlanta a couple of times, and I met with some leadership in Atlanta to be able to bring some calm and peace up in the Atlanta area. So but again, exactly what he said. I think this is what we should just be able to rally and support each other, because at the end of the day, we need people at the table at various state houses. It doesn't matter what state you're from, to be able to start to work, to hear our voices also. Because of we have kids, we have our kids growing up in this society. Whether or not we like it, we don't know whether our kids gonna go back home and live in the Liberia. I know it's definitely. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I know one thing I know for sure, that our kids will be here in the diaspora in the U.S. growing up. So for them to be able to see and say, look, hey, my parents are like, Liberians American, but I can do the same thing that this person did, to be able to represent us. I think that it was one of the motivating factors also for our campaign, for us to sit up there and get up there, because there's a lot of things we can do as Liberians, within the diaspora.
Okay. So now, Mr. Bia will be heading for the State House. Is that the beginnings of your political marathon in this country? We don't want to forecast what's going to happen in the next day, but I have no doubt you're going to encourage people, and I think you did yourself a good favor. Good favor in itself that you conducted yourself as a real community leader. I must give it to you, because in that being that, I don't even think that the people who have got the trust in you, because not a function, be it the Nigerian, the Sierra Leonean, the local state, and the non-fundraiser, not a single one. Then President Bia will be sending texts, will be calling people, hey, this event is coming, or hey, this what kind of man just want to kill people everywhere and this and that. But hey, I believe you had a target point, and part of that was to bring the community. You will be going on Capitol Hill, State House. What is the true meaning for you after your inauguration, and when you sit there with that eagle flag is on the other side and sit behind that desk there, what it all means, not just only you, the Liberian, and all of us? What's the implication of that?
Well, to be honest with you, that haven't hit me yet. It's gonna. I don't know when that will be, but it will be about just having like pre-meetings, just having pre-meetings as state representative elect, receiving emails that we're looking at the state budget right now, the shortfall right now, and trying to see exactly how we can balance a quick budget because of this whole COVID stuff. And we're the current speaker, to be able to be one of those people that are going to voted to elect a new speaker of the General Assembly. When you say the thing about all of these things, like, wow, that it hasn't hit me yet. And this speaker after calling, speakers calling for us to look at some things that we're going to be looking at comes right after January 5th. For us to look at, to help, to serve the people of Rhode Island. And we're looking at food bank shortage within the state of Rhode Island. So we have to look at the budget to increase the funding, to increase, put food in the food bank to give, and the speaker having conversation like, we don't want to cut taxes in the state of Rhode Island. We don't want to increase taxes in the state of Rhode Island. You don't want to keep it the same. We don't want to we don't want people to lose their jobs, social services. So those are very important issues right now within the state that, just
are you a moderate Democrat or
definitely that's where you're gonna find me. Yes.
Oh wow, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, so that's why I say if that haven't hit me yet, because when your name is engraved within that seat right there, that your seat is dead and everything, the state house, and talking about the ego behind, that I haven't gotten to that point yet, but it's coming.
What's coming to represent it in the next year or two? Will we be talking about of Representative Nathan B? What can you forecast? What will we be talking about in the next 1 year after you have taken been sworn in, inaugurated, and taken seat? What a reflection would be like?
I mean, the reflection would be like the person that's going to state our principles and to make sure that a constituent within his district and the people of Rhode Island, gets what they deserve from the federal government. And make sure that the people of Rhode Island is well served by me and people of District 3. So those are some of the issues, and and there are some hot button issues that are going to come around, and those will be the things that you're probably going to hear about where a state representative be and his position on certain things when we get to that point.
You are.
Let me say something real quick, Alfonso, before you go further, right? So right before the elections, it was a Saturday when we had gone around to the old folks' home to give some goodies out to the old folks before elections. And Nathan and I stood by and we looked at it because we knew where we were, based on our internal polling and everything, we knew where we were. And the conversation we had was, these are things that we need to continue to do to reach out to these people that makes people who said this person was a representative for 20-something years. These are the actions that happen. We need to keep our ears to the ground. We need to keep our feet on the ground. We need to continue to engage our people in our community. And so, Nathan mentioned I know that the person, he's not gonna deviate from those principles and those fundamentals as a representative. And so we're highly encouraged that he's going, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna continue to push. Like I said earlier in the conversation, this is not Nathan's thing. This is our thing. So we all have to come and rally. Nathan's success is our success. The failures is equally ours. So we have to come to the table and bring and push a series of agendas so we can be able to move this thing forward.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And I hope, and I see this as the Baker group or Baker person institution that took away is Liberia. I see Liberia to be a big beneficiary. I hope then that we utilize this, not just only we rep by the Beata like the other people here, because part of it, it's our people, most of our rep and senators, and so they do not work. Rhode Island is host nearly all of the politicians, the people that want state power, they always come here from Liberia. And I've never saw one day for them to even come here and make friends and say, oh, they're coming to visit. Now they have one of their own. I'm not saying that they're going to abuse it, but hey, this is, let me ask you this question. I know it might sound so ridiculous, and for you politicians, you're quick to be diplomatic. Has anybody from the ruling establishment in Liberia, government, opposition, people that are contesting for state power, have they by any chance managed to send you a inbox or text you and say, hey, my own Liberian brother, congratulations? Anybody have made a mistake to do that?
One person I spoke with the ambassador. The ambassador did call me, and I think about a week after the election, and I spoke with him. And yes, that was it from that. And but since then, I haven't gotten any call from. But the ambassador did call.
So the 103 men and women, supposedly, let me see, I need to make reference here, because this is why sometimes when I talk and then the people say something here. Let me see here, because I have everything here. That's how ridiculous those people, and that's how they don't want to learn. We have 118 persons contesting for the senatorial races in Liberia. As of now, I know of, there were 20 female candidates, but they are 19 now, one drop off. You have 98 male, and a group called themselves Independent 44, totaling of with 28 political parties, which is so ridiculous in the first place, and you have 118 people. None of these people get the guts to say, hey, I need to know the secret of this Liberian brother here. Or by the way, I've heard so person. And not, I'm not an ambassador representing the government of Liberia here, but I'm taking it from inside Liberia, Mr. Rep. This is not meant to create anything here. Nobody call you yet to congratulate you?
No, not at this time. Not yet.
Wow. You see, this is why, Chairman Neto, this is why we don't make progress. We don't celebrate things that worth to be celebrated. We do not elevate our own. Don't you see this as a gateway to bring the ties, to cement the relationship that you have one of your own? Who can who to be like an ear, to be like your eye person? Who can we talk to? We need sweeping material for the Senator of Monrovia, Buchanan, Maryland, Sino. And these people here, you see how disingenuous and disservice of our Liberian people. And sometimes some of us ready to talk, and then people say, yeah, all of these people, they have their campaigns representative here. And nobody, no, not a mistake, they have not even called. Can you imagine? Do you believe that, Chairman Nathan?
Well, let me be first, to state for the record that maybe they don't have the information, or they probably will eventually reach. They will probably reach out.
Don't do
this. They will
this.
probably eventually. Yes, sir. I would say. I'm not going
to. From Page Africa.
Yes, sir.
He was on Ash for Gala show. Where are they looking for information? This is
yes, sir. So maybe
not work. This and act like a little shawawa, and they just think, say, Uncle Sen. Now they have somebody, one of their own is embedded in the government here with Uncle Sen. And they say, and you want to tell me they don't have that?
Well, eventually, I'm hoping that eventually we'll get to that point. Hopefully, eventually we get to that point. But for now, we would do our part here as as the representative for everyone here, and I'm hoping that our agenda would not just be confined to the borders of Rhode Island, and in fact, hopefully, reach out to help our people.
Yeah, at least they should establish connections. This is how you network. And we complain, Mr. Rep, I'm sorry, maybe I'm trying to get over my speed limit. But I was just before you came, I was telling Nate on the same thing where Sharon Whitehouse was talking, one of the breakfast. You got to get involved. Be involved. If you want to be heard, if your case want to be heard, if somebody got to put your vote, your show out, your volunteer. And I think it was a brave thing on your part. It took away time from your family. It was a political risk where if things are going to go the way other, and then it becomes like something here. We told you, he not even listening to people. He do this, and yet still, and we have to be honest, the behavior of our people is just is unbelievable. So what?
But one thing that I would add on that is, despite those people that are running for political office have not called to make connection, which is less of our concern. I think much more of our concern is like the people of Liberia, the common people of Liberia on the street, is very, very excited about this win for us, for our campaign. So the people in Liberia are also kudos to all the Liberian citizens that are in Liberia, because for what we've been gathering is like all Liberians that are in Liberia are very excited about this win for us. So again, I would say thank you to all Liberians that are there. Despite those people that are in that are running for power, that are in power, have not reached out to us. Maybe in due time they will, but at least the people in Liberia, the citizens of Liberia is very, they're very excited about this win for us. And we won't be able to do anything exactly. And we also looking at things, who knows, the people in Liberia, we can say, we just will say thank you to them. Just thank you to all the Liberian citizens that are in Liberia, in the diaspora.
There you go.
No, Alfonso, I see that smirk on your face. I know the question you're about to ask. Let me cut it right now. I see that smirk on your face. I see it. I know it. I know you so well. But let me just state here, the campaign, again, we have work to focus on. We have our partners and our partnership here in Rhode Island. We have a term to serve. We support our people back home. We will continue to chart different courses to help our people back home and continue to do that and be a voice of reason here as well. And so that smirk, please, I understand where you're going, but with that question now, but I hope that answers your question.
Okay, there you go. He already sealed it up here. Yeah. Okay. Well, look, we don't want to keep you, but quickly here before we wrap you today's summit, you need to have some time with your family. The work already starts. The presence of Representative Nathan Biat with the state of Rhode Island, what it means to your country. Have you visited your country since you came to the States as a result of the Civil War?
No, I have not yet, and actually planning to head back to Liberia very, very soon.
Very soon.
Yeah.
What would that mean to you?
Well, we're just, we still have, friends, family that stay there to be able, we communicate with them, on a daily basis. But, just to go back because, like I said earlier, sometimes when you come for a certain vision, try to accomplish things, and sometimes like the job opportunity that you have, as a principal, it's very tough for them to take a month off work to go back home. Imagine a principal out of a school building for a month, or even 2 or 3 days out of a building of you're not in your school.
How are you gonna do that? How are you gonna balance those two?
This is why we have a lot of staff who's going to be in the office to be able to balance those things.
You love being in the classroom. You're still gonna be.
That's where my passion lies. Young people.
Wow.
I love to educate young people. You see, you see a young man from middle school. You bring them out to high school, and you see them in the future. You see them where they are. You see they are lawyers, they're doctors, they're nurses. It brings joy to you, and to see because as you are, so that's where my passion lies, to be able to work, help and educate young people.
Okay. I don't intend to drag you into that mud in the country, but you are a native Liberian. What is concerning on your belt? If you are an educator, you monitor news, you read newspapers, prints, electronics, things coming from your country. As a Liberian, what is so concerning to you?
I think some of the concerns, where I have my passion at, to talk about education, that's why I feel that we can do better within our education system. Look, we live in the 21st century right now, and I feel that the students in Liberia, needs a 21st century education to be able to compete with every other student in the entire world. And I think the skill set is there. Liberians are pretty smart people. The kids are there. So it's just about us giving them the necessary tools to be able to compete with people in all walks of the world. Liberians is capable. We can do that. It's just about just giving us the tools. How can we give her the tools? I think we're going to focus our part, my partner just said, where Nathan just said earlier about our partnership, our partnership here and over there. We try to make sure that we're education and also healthcare. those are just basic fundamental necessity of life that people should have just basically, you know, education, health, and safety. Just those three, just are just basic necessity of life that I think every human being deserves to have.
Wow. And knowing the kind of person you are, I've been privileged to work with you, and things that you do, love working with young people. I'm quite sure the young generation, which I strongly believe our political elite have abused the young generation in terms of keeping them down to be some sort of people to them. I'm quite sure that's going to be catching you. Look, today is Sunday. By this time, you should be reviewing some of your stuff, you know, to attend to things. But what is the message to those viewers and people that are going to be monitoring this here? What is the message to them? You as a Liberian, occupying such a high-profile political position right here in the U.S., that's huge. From a person who fled his country because of the civil crisis, served his community, the Liberian Community Association, to Rhode Island, from La Carina to being the state representative. For me, is huge and is commendable. So, what would be the message here, Representative Biat, as we about to run this program? And what would be a message to all of us, those that are even listening far and near here? What's the message? What is the hope?
I think the message is, I mean, we're in a land where the opportunities are, and let us seize the opportunity that we have. I know it is tough. Sometimes it becomes very difficult. It becomes gray. But as long as we keep the focus and be able to assimilate ourselves within the culture in which we find ourselves, those are like a few things that we need to do, because we Liberians, we love each other, which is good, but sometimes we need to expand, to create our network outside of our community, and also to the young folks. Make sure that where your mind and where your vision is, you will derail sometimes, but just make sure that you keep your focus and keep the vision, and you keep struggling to make sure that you get to your goal, your end goal. And like I always say, which is one of the fundamental things that I have,
Okay. And Mikey.
Which is one of the fundamental things that I have is like, make sure that you just keep yourself focused. It is difficult. It is difficult, but you have to do that. If not, it's very easy to get derailed and you just lose track.
All right. Mikey is one of our favorite follower here. Okay, let me see. If you get one, maybe you can let me know, and I will be making a public announcement. Is there any congratulatory message from the Liberian government to the honorable man? Well, if you find one, let me know. But Representative Bia already said the ambassador here did reach out, which is a good thing here. Okay, Rep Biat, I want to thank you so much for taking this time. Let's create this sort of opening, which of course you are a media-friendly guy. And this is just the beginning, man. The next thing maybe congressman, and then senator of Rhode Island. That's how it starts. And I have no doubt that's going to go, honestly, because you are laid the foundation and nothing is impossible. We gotta go to Washington as well, so that we will be at the high table. Representative Nathan Biat, I want to thank you so much for all that you did from this community and beyond. You did not limit yourself, and this is what you are. You are what you are, and let's keep in touch. Thank you so much. It was nice having you here. I will stay here with your man, your campaign, man. He's gonna wrap it up before we sign off for this evening. We gotta let you go. What's about your family? You didn't talk anything about your family.
Yeah, so my family were very instrumental in this whole world thing. Also, where my wife went to most of the meetings with me, and also during the campaign meetings, strategizing and everything else. She was on the table, and also we're walking with my wife, my two kids also helped. We also walked door to door, also knocking, talking to people, passing the mailers, passing the flyers, and we're doing everything. So, they were in this 100% with me now. So again, there's nothing I can say, because without their blessing, this would have been possible. Okay, so without my wife and my 3 kids blessing, it won't be possible. Again, so they are my, like, a very, very strong supporting cast that I always depend on.
Right. And she herself actively involved in community initiative, president of Women of Substance. You see that? So all of that factor in. All right. Thank you so much for being here. We're looking forward to having you at some point in time again. And thank you for sharing your thought with us. The inauguration is January what?
January 5th.
January what? First?
January 5th. So we're like, once we get the date and everything, the time and everything else, Nate will be able to get you update you on that. But it's January 5th.
Okay, all right. I will keep. He's very spontaneous when it comes to that too. Okay, Reb, thank you so much for your time. Let me go to your campaign man here, the brain, to this whole thing here, so we can wrap it up here. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right.
All right. Take care, brother.
Okay. Okay. So, Nathan, I think he just nailed it. Yeah, I mean, it's expected because I know this guy, who he is, and we were able to do a few things together on the Liberian community level here at the ULAT level. His consistency, his persevering, his sort of leadership style, his tolerance. He's very articulate. He's calculative in throwing things out there. He's not a kind of leader who just throw it out and start taking, oh, is this what I said? No, he's not a person. He's very thoughtful in getting things out here. How long are you going to continue this with him?
Oh, I'm in it for the ride. We're going all the way. But this is not just about about Nathan and I as Nathans or as Liberians, but I think our opportunity now to show other people the way forward. Other candidates, remember we talked about the political action group that we wanted to establish around to talk to other people who are interested in running for office, giving them the roadmap that we used that we felt was effective in actually winning this campaign. And so we're willing to share information. We're open to other Liberians. We've talked to other Liberians. We've gotten resources for other Liberians to actually run. And so our job now is to just be that conduit for other Liberians that would pop up out of the woodworks, of course, to do so. But one thing you said, and I forgot to mention earlier, was the fact that people, every time you run for public office here, people would scrutinize you to the letter. They would dig and dig and dig. And those are the things we had. People would dig. So if you're ready for it and you can do this and you've got, whatever skeletons in your closet and you want to get up yourself off before you do it, let's come to the table. Let's talk. We're ready to have a conversation with anyone out there. We're ready to listen. We're ready to see how we can help you strategize and bring Liberians to the table, because I think we have the vision, we have the passion, we have the ingenuity, and we have the skill set to actually be effective in this country as well.
Yeah, and I really support the issue of this sort of action network here. The other people doing it. Why can't we do it? We have to be innovative. We have to be inclusive. We have to be part of the process, And I think that's a very viable, very smart and sensible idea. Please let us know any way, form, shape, anytime. To get it out there within the public domain. This is something, it is our own way of giving back when it comes to doing the public relations aspect. It will be at no cost. This is all about Liberia. And this is why we always like to encourage conversations of civility, because at the end of the day, we are the direct representations of our own country as a Liberian, whether you Americans or whatever thing. But that original identity attachment is always there. And I think it's a brilliant thing, because it will help to recruit, it will help to get potential resourceful people, qualified people, for that matter, people with good character. I'm not talking about people think they can't pay. No, we're not going to have those kind of people there. We'll get a bye-bye, eat people money in these community organizations, tear this organization down, and then they try to chastise all our government. That's ridiculous. We have to clean everybody. Nobody is exempted. What's your last and final word?
Well, finally, I would like to say thank you and your network for affording us the opportunity to come and actually share our story. our story is not unique. Our story is almost the vast number of Liberians who actually came here during the Silver Strife or unrest in our country. Our story is exactly the story. And so, but again, having a vision without works is only a wish. And so, like, having faith without work is dead. You have to be able to work and know exactly what but you also have to break out of your silos. You have to be able to get out of the mindset that you want this from every Liberian. So about 3 years ago, I mentioned that we were able to talk to Mayor Collins, and one thing he mentioned to us that kind of struck us initially was the fact that it was his family. Just imagine they're not a Liberians in Montana, but it was just him and his family members that actually voted for him as Liberians. Mm-hmm. And so the rest of other people from outside. So let's get comfortable in breaking out of our comfort zone and reaching out to, and other things. And Nathan mentioned specifically, and we joke about this all the time because we talk about, I got to go home and build a house and do all these different things. That's for you. Your children, our children that we have here, they're probably not going to go back to Liberia. They're probably going to go there and maybe see and visit, but this is their home now. And we have to make it there. We have to be able to stand on our foundation now to help people progress and move forward. Education, again, is very, very important. Get our people educated, our young people. So Nathan didn't mention it, but about 25% of people who voted for Nathan in his district were his former students. He's very passionate about it. So all these different things. So again, we're open. Our phone numbers are available. Our email addresses, we can hand it off to you. You can call us if you need our help. Let's get to the table. Let's help. Let's get people in places of position. Serve on your school board. Serve on your city council. Serve on your local state rep positions. But you have to get involved in the process. That's the only way we can move ourselves forward as Liberians in the diaspora. And we want to say thank you. And so one of our members who actually passed recently, Mr. Nusra, Batin Nusra, who was actually a member of our Liberian Community Association, we extend our sincere condolences to his wife and his family, Rebecca, and the kids.
Yeah, my honor, Rebecca is back in the States. I've not had a chance to talk to her. You remember that election? Rebecca was on my committee, was part of the election. And yes, right, even in his living room, we were all there. He, as one of the community leaders at the time, he was here. And he all helped by to kind of like we all were brainstorming to make sure that this election, the election at the time went well. My honor is she's back. We'll try to find time to also reach her.
Reach back to her. Yeah. So on that note, I would say thank you again for your network. Thanks to everyone for watching. We're here and we're willing and we're open. We're going to share the idea. It's fundamental to us, education, and so let us know if you need any help, and we'll be willing to come forward. Thank you.
Okay, he's now the chairman of the board of directors of the Liberian community of the Ocean State of Rhode Island. Nathan, I want to thank you so much for taking your time to us here this evening.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Well, to all my viewers and listeners online, your comments, your tweets, those that call in, I want to thank you so much this evening.
Hallelujah. Give me the heart. In the morning when I wake up, in the night when I wake up.
I think it's a very good thing to build that network to spot potential to Liberians. We have to engage the process. If we want to be heard, if we want Liberian plight to be felt by the international community, by US, you got to get somebody within the system. We complain about the Hispanic, they go to welfare, they're there. Yes, I can remember even schoolmate, I didn't even know he was volunteering on one other campaign on the other side, and it was amazing. One of those debates when he was sitting down there representing one of the candidates. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So you have to volunteer. This guy in Montana, I hosted here, and we made a commitment to contribute to his campaign. Call other friend. What am I giving money for? You give money to these weddings and things that can't even last for 1-2 days. Your guys are unable to invest into other people's success in life. And you think it's just going to come like that? No.
Hallelujah. Give him the highest praise.
Okay, well, 8 days to go to the consequential midterm senatorial elections in Liberia. So we're going to be keeping track of that. But I just, out of respect, I want to let you know I will be away for like precisely a week on this network. I want to thank you so much. I'm going away doesn't mean I'm going for good, but I'm just going to be taking a little break. Don't ask me where I'm going. Probably I might be going to Liberia. Probably I won't be going to whatever place, but I just want to take a little bit breathing time. Unfortunately, Mikey, I'm leaving you in the hands of the liberal progressive. Samson told we are planning a big program to forcibly retire him comes 2021. So he's right now, he's on a campaign pleading for mercy so that he can be retired. Samson told he does not want to be retired, the man from Town. He needs to go back to Town to do some farming. And then maybe when he starts his farming, it will help him to see about the Sisters River Bridge. That bridge was constructed in the 60s. At the same time, the Raleigh-Town, you know the bridge, Raleigh-Town, the bridge there constructed by the Vietnamese. And what happened to the Raleigh-Town bridge? You know what happened? You know the story. Sister River Bridge is still the same time. They are all of the same age. So we are forcibly trying to retire Samson Toll and send him to Town and see it with that. Then he can try to see about that bridge. The last time he went, honestly, he did a inspection and he sent those recommendations forward. And communist wizard, he doesn't like to call people names, but I call their name. The communist wizard, our own Ellis Chesia Grain, and many other government officials, both lower and upper houses. The Senate, send me your email, send me your phone number. He has called something, and they are not like people like us, you know. And they never called a young man back. He's willing to render his services. But you can't force people. All right? You can take cow out to the water, down to the creek to drink, but you can't shove the hair of the cow in the water to drink. If it doesn't want to drink, it just doesn't want to drink. So he can just do little within his own reach. And I hope someone out there is listening that there are some good Liberians here, many of them. But again, the insecurity, the behavior, the sort of news, the things that are happening, all clutter out and create as a sort of apprehension. What will happen if I go in there? What would be the reception of the people? And for sure, those people are so much protective of their jobs. When it comes to their job, you live from here today, you get there the next thing. Oh, yeah, how long? Oh, I'll still be around. Their friendship right there is somersault because they feel very insecure of their job. And guess what? It is the politicians have implanted that into their mindset. This is why our own brothers and sisters do not want to even see us. But guess what? You will be so important these few days with Christmas and New Year in the corner, causing I just called to check on you. They think that is a few days. When they want money, then we become relatives, we become brothers, we become sister, uncle, nephew, and that long introductory, like somebody giving a keynote address at the United Nations. But after that, they don't want to see them. And sometimes I just do not blame them. It is these greedy, self-centered politicians. You listen to Representative Nate Netanyahu, that up to this point in time, nobody has even sent a congratulatory, like what Marky was saying, a message. And even the other lady that is elected as a state representative in Colorado. Now, tell me, for God's sake, where is this connection? Where would this connection be made? If the Kia network, it was on Front Page Africa, it was on Liberia Public Radio. He has gone all on different network. It's out there within the public domain. It's not a hidden thing. And nobody is smart and far-sighted to say, oh, one of our own is at the head table. Wait a minute. We need to find his number. We need to call people. We need to search for him and say thank you for what you have done. This is a clear indication, not all, but most of these people, they just think we are here, we don't mean anything. All we want is to take the job. Where is the job? Where is the job that people are taking, and that they can be gracious to their own Liberians? His story is a good storytelling. It's a good story. It's a good narrative. A young man who fled his country because of a civil war and came to this country. He served his community. This guy, I had an opportunity to work with him. I'd never seen anybody that is tolerant and patient like Nate Netanyahu. This is the guy, Nate Netanyahu. That was the elections I conducted over 7 years ago that almost torn the Liberian community apart. When Nelly Savage and Mariah Seaton, we went to Superior Court. And thank God these informations were there. Let me pick up this call here before I go quickly here. Caller, are you there?
I'm here, Mr. So. Thank you for hosting Mason. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir. In fact, when he started running, I did reach out to him. As you know, I work with him on the NEMA community, what do you call it? United NEMA Citizen Council, UNICO. In fact, he was like a mediator here when there was, whether we have good thing going, whatever we have confusion, he would slide down, kind of conflict resolution. He's a smart young man. I think, and that's where we are. We need to manage relationship. Everything that you're saying is correct.
This is so,
we extend them when they need us. But when we show up, we ourselves are hosted people here, and you get to Liberia and they are like they don't know you.
Oh,
and you
forget
get to
it.
them,
You go there and say, what they want to know you for? You going for their job.
Exactly. So when I go to Liberia and somebody say, when you can't see me in my office, I don't go to nobody.
Please.
I just don't. But and like the rightfully said, Woman Collins said the same thing. We say the same thing. At one point in my community, really, I was going like no horse. I just got a call speaking about John Oysters, and they will be coming to my house this week. Okay, that's how much you get out, and we all should be comfortable to assimilate in our new community and leave Lapasi and leave Oro and leave Maryland, leave Grand City, and leave Nima County, because we have to build a society here that is worthy of our children as we are going to Liberia, maybe to retire or we will stay. But I want to say thank you for hosting him. We have a second time have congratulated him. We are proud of him. UNICO had and LPR has congratulated him. We know what it takes. So Nathan, go and do some big things. It's good for your people too. But I can tell you, if it were just a Liberian community, you wouldn't be where you are. So continue to sow and do what you do best, because you pay your dues and your people have seen what's in you and what you can give back. So congratulations. And Mr. So, congratulations also. And just to go, I don't know how something is going to do it, because we almost went to Liberia. In fact, we put money together to go to Liberia. Thanks to one of the people on our team that I always talk about, the first Liberian engineering firm. He was part of that in 2007, 2008. So we had experience. My husband is a structural engineer too, over 30 years now, and experience. So when we're ready to do business in Liberia, we'll reach out to people who can do the job and do it to last, and people will not be afraid. And then those who are afraid because they don't have enough, they will open up so those who know can teach them, so there can be no competition. So we can create more and more of us, But thank you. Let me go. I know you're already closing. Thank you so much, Mr. Shaw.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, that's Manontai Yasenintai Martin Bay, host of Second Thought, one of the strong voices here in the diaspora. Thank you so much. We disagree on a lot of things yet, but it can spoil the relationship, and that's the respect, the mutual respect we must try to maintain. Folks, I want to thank you so much. For those of you tuning in here for the very first time, I want to say it, you are wholeheartedly welcome. This is the Liberia Public Radio, LPR. This is the first immediate online news network. When we started this, there were no all way around. It used to be like a free conferencing call. and we figure out, and this thing came back. We try to represent the image of Liberia, and this is why we are very careful in voice choices and the kind of conversations that we try to hear. By the name Liberia Public Radio, by the way, it's our motto, the start of the National Public Radio, to which most of them helped do some training with us, and you will find out that most of my program, like All Things Considered, those are very educative programs and stuff like that. Subscribe with LPR to our Facebook page, LIB Messenger. You can subscribe. You can be a follower of our page. We have a YouTube channel, Liberia Public Radio YouTube channel. You can also subscribe. We are on Twitter. There is an official website, www.liberiapublicradio.com. Live video of our podcast also always available. We welcome suggestions, comment, critique. Yeah, but when you criticize or put something in place, don't tell me and say, this is why you're doing it, I don't like it. Okay, if you don't like it, I try to find a replacement, so perhaps management can consider incorporating that. But when you just talk about it and you walk off, then it just doesn't eye up. So we want to thank you so much for being part of us here this evening, sharing your Sunday evening with us. Without you, we can't be here. All what we are doing is about Liberia. If I say anything here, perhaps that just went over the board, but I just feel we as a Liberians must be gracious. We must celebrate our own. We must open up to have dialogue. We must open up for conversation. We must be authentic. We must put our country first. We must be honest to ourselves. These are qualities of good human beings, and so we have to do that. And I think the initiative of this brother and others who are in high-profile political position here is an elevation for our country, and we anticipate our political leaders. They must be far-sighted. They must be calculative. They must open their eyes to see and say, oh, wait a minute, something good is happening, so we want to make use of that. And so sometimes if they're not doing it here, then some of us is like, wait a minute, are they not thankful to God that one of their own is at this point? Then it kind of like, it makes my blood to boil within. Not a whole anything personal, but we have to say it. You know, there are some people you have to use some, you do have to be forceful to get it. But I can tell you, Netanyahu is a very, very decent man because I have the opportunity to work with him. And that's part of it. This picture is a memorable picture. That's about 7-8 years ago when the Liberian community was at the crossroad, when other folks, because their own personal disagreement, imagine if we are not saved these ballot bags and all of the documents right after election, they took out a superior court. And it made up a story. There was no election. Nathan just appointed people. I was like, wait, when I go look at the president-elect call, oh, you have to come. Come where? Oh, we got to be to the Superior Court. Are you kidding me? And we have to go through, they have to go through all of these papers. They wanted to see the citations. They wanted to see the elections regulations. They wanted to see this. You know, these people here, they wanted to see anything because these folks, Nelly Savage, Moriah Seaton, Breakaway Eula, created a conspiracy as if there was no elections and people were handpicked. So these people, they have all reason to also to judge what the community did. And as God may have it, because I went through that 2010 with my own Graduate Association, was at a crossroad, conducted elections in Massachusetts again. That one we didn't go to court, but it helps to stabilize the association. So I told them, you know what, Mr. President, I want to keep this document. After 2 years, I will turn them over to the community archive. And as God may have it, I kept those documents. And the people went and checked the number of ballots, people that voted, the leftover, the results, how it was tabulated. I'm not making it up. They were here, we're talking. That's what acquired this community. That's how the Liberians community are so polluted and so divided. And then when they asked, I tell you, I say there was no elections. We have the election laws, the regulation. Ask Gloria Double. The flyers and the awareness that we have created, they asked for all of those things. And when the judge saw it, he said no. And told her, as of today, anywhere Liberian community going, you no longer, and not knowing he was running a dubious organizations and threatening people, calling me, going to take me to court because I'm managing elections without whatever. You didn't know there's somebody to be threatening. He didn't know who they were playing with. But anyway, here is the man now today is a state representative. So he went through a tough time. It was rocky. It was tough. I want to thank you so much for being here. Let's wrap it up for the rest of the evening. It's 7:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, again, I will be away for a week, but LPR will be on. Thank you so much and have a pleasant evening.
Come let worship Jehovah. He deserves the praise. Come let praise Him. He deserves everything. Oh, the worshiping. Oh, He gave me life. I will praise His name. I'm here to praise my God, oh, because He gave me life. Come celebrate. Come jubilate. Come now worship Him. He deserves the praise. Hallelujah.